Welcome to Hydrohaven Garden enthusiasts. Today we're exploring the often overlooked potential of those shady spots in your garden. If you've been struggling with dark corners or areas beneath tree canopies, this guide will transform your perspective. Shade doesn't have to mean barren or boring. It can be an opportunity to create lush, textured landscapes filled with fascinating foliage and surprising blooms. Let's dive into the world of shade-loving plants that will breathe life into those challenging spaces. Before we explore our star shade performers, let's quickly understand what we mean by shade. Not all shade is created equal. Dappled shade occurs under trees with light filtering through the canopy. Partial shade typically means 3 to 6 hours of direct sun, often in the morning. Full shade receives less than 3 hours of direct sunlight. Most of the plants we'll discuss today thrive in partial to full shade, but I'll specify any particular preferences. The key to success in shade gardening is understanding that these areas typically have 3 challenges: reduced light, competition from tree roots, and often drier soil, as tree canopies can block rainfall. The plants I'm sharing today have naturally adapted to these conditions, making them perfect solutions for these challenging spots. Astilbe is one of my personal favorites for reliable shade color. These stunning perennials produce feathery, plume-like flower spikes in shades ranging from white to deep ruby red, rising above fern-like foliage. What makes Astilbe particularly valuable is its bloom time, typically June through July when many shade gardens lack color. For best results, plant Astilbe in soil with ample organic matter that retains moisture well. While they can tolerate quite deep shade, you'll get the most abundant flowering in partial shade. These plants prefer consistent moisture, making them perfect companions near water features or in naturally damp areas of your garden. Some standout varieties include Fanal with its deep red plumes, Bridal Veil featuring delicate white flowers, and Rhineland with its bright pink blooms. For smaller spaces, consider the dwarf variety Pumila that stays under 12 inches tall. Astilbe pairs beautifully with Hostas, creating a textural contrast between the feathery Astilbe flowers and the bold Hosta leaves. No shade garden is complete without hostas. These foliage champions come in an astonishing array of sizes, colors, and textures. From tiny blue mouse ears at just 8 inches to the massive Empress Wu that can reach 4 feet tall with leaves the size of dinner plates, there's a hosta for every garden space. What makes hostas particularly valuable is their incredible variety. Look for blue-tinted varieties like Halcyon or Blue Angel for cooler tones in the garden. For brightness in deep shade, variegated types like Patriot with white margins or June with its gold center bring light to dark corners. For unusual texture, consider Praying Hands with its folded upright leaves or Crinkle Cut with its heavily textured foliage. While primarily grown for foliage, don't overlook hosta flowers. Many varieties produce lavender or white bell-shaped blooms on tall stalks in summer, attracting hummingbirds and adding vertical interest. Bleeding Heart, or Dicentra species, brings unmatched romantic charm to the spring shade garden. The classic Dicentra spectabilis produces arching stems lined with heart-shaped pink and white flowers, creating a fountain-like effect in April and May. For season-long interest, consider the newer fringed leaf types, Dicentra exemia, that bloom repeatedly throughout the season with smaller but equally charming flowers. Plant Bleeding Hearts in rich, humus-heavy soil that retains moisture but doesn't get soggy. They pair beautifully with early spring bulbs like snowdrops and later emerging perennials like hostas. The traditional bleeding heart goes dormant in summer heat, so plan to have later emerging plants nearby to fill the space. Fringed bleeding hearts, however, maintain their attractive ferny foliage all season. A special tip for Hydrohaven viewers: if you fall in love with bleeding hearts, try the white variety Alba for ethereal beauty in deeper shade, where it seems to glow in the evening light. Lungwort, or Pulmonaria, offers the best of both worlds: spotted or silver-splashed foliage that looks great all season, plus some of the earliest spring flowers in the shade garden. The flowers appear in March or April, depending on your climate, in clusters of pink, blue, or white bells, often with multiple colors on the same plant as they age. What makes Lungwort especially valuable is its tolerance of dry shade once established, though it prefers consistent moisture during establishment. The silver-spotted varieties like Majesté or Silver Bouquet brighten deep shade with their foliage that appears almost luminous in low light. For the most intense leaf markings, provide some morning sun if possible. In my own garden, I find Lungwort makes an excellent companion for spring bulbs and early ephemerals. It emerges early enough to partner with them but persists all season after they've faded away. It's also relatively deer-resistant, making it valuable in woodland settings where deer pressure is high. Foamflower, or tiarella, is an underutilized native woodland perennial that deserves a spot in every shade garden. In spring, these low-growing plants send up frothy, foam-like spires of tiny white or pink flowers that hover above the foliage like a soft mist. But their appeal extends beyond the bloom period. Many varieties have beautifully marked leaves, often with dramatic center blotches or veining in deep burgundy. Modern hybrid foamflowers offer incredible variety. Look for sugar and spice with its deeply cut leaves marked with a dramatic burgundy star pattern, or pink skyrocket with its tall pink flower spikes. These plants spread slowly to form attractive mats, making them excellent ground covers for shady areas where grass won't grow. Plant foamflowers in rich, well-draining soil with plenty of organic matter. While they prefer consistent moisture, established plants have reasonable drought tolerance. They pair beautifully with ferns, hostas, and other woodland natives like wild ginger. In fall, the foliage often takes on bronze or red tones, adding seasonal interest. If you're looking to extend your garden season, hellebores or helleborus are unmatched for winter and early spring interest in the shade garden. These evergreen perennials produce elegant, nodding flowers in late winter when almost nothing else is blooming. Modern hybrids come in colors ranging from pure white to yellow, pink, red, purple, and even slate black, often with intricate spotting or picoté edges. What makes hellebores remarkable is their incredible hardiness and longevity. Once established, they can live for decades with minimal care, slowly forming impressive clumps. Their leathery, palmate foliage remains attractive year-round in most climates, providing structure even when not in bloom. For best results, plant hellebores in well-draining soil amended with compost or leaf mold. They particularly appreciate the conditions under deciduous trees, where they receive winter sun, but summer shade. When planting, set them slightly high, with the crown just above soil level, to prevent crown rot. Remove old foliage in late winter just as the flower buds emerge to showcase the blooms and encourage fresh leaf growth. While many of our selections are perennials, shade-loving begonias deserve mention for their unmatched ability to bring color to the deepest shade. Hardy begonias, or Begonia grandis, return year after year in zones 6 to 9, while tuberous and wax begonias make excellent annual options in colder regions. Hardy begonias produce wing-shaped asymmetrical leaves with red undersides and sprays of pink flowers in late summer, when many shade gardens have finished their main show. Their interesting seed capsules add fall interest. For season-long color, consider Rex begonias with their dramatically patterned leaves in combinations of silver, burgundy, pink, and green. To succeed with begonias, provide rich, well-draining soil that never completely dries out. A north-facing location with bright indirect light is ideal. In hot southern regions, morning sun with afternoon shade works well. Begonias in containers can be overwintered indoors in colder climates, providing year-round enjoyment of their colorful foliage. Foxgloves, or digitalis, bring unmatched vertical drama to the shade garden with their tall spires of tubular flowers. While the common foxglove, Digitalis purpurea, is a biennial, perennial types like Digitalis grandiflora, return reliably year after year. These woodland edge plants prefer dappled shade or morning sun with afternoon shade. The tubular flowers of foxgloves are magnets for hummingbirds and bees, adding wildlife interest to your shade garden. For something different than the common purple-pink varieties, try the soft yellow flowers of Digitalis grandiflora, or the rusty orange tones of Digitalis ferruginea. Plant foxgloves in well-draining soil enriched with compost. They appreciate consistent moisture but can handle short dry periods once established. Allow some flowers to go to seed to ensure continuous generations in your garden, but deadhead others to prolong the blooming period. Bigroot geranium, or Geranium macrorhizum, is the solution for one of the toughest garden challenges: dry shade. This spreading perennial forms weed-suppressing mats of aromatic rounded leaves that turn red in fall. In late spring, it produces clusters of pink, magenta, or white flowers that hover just above the foliage. What makes bigroot geranium so valuable is its exceptional drought tolerance once established. Its thick rhizomes store water, allowing it to thrive even under tree roots where many plants struggle. The fragrant foliage is also deer and rabbit resistant, making it perfect for problem areas. For best results, plant bigroot geranium in soil, amended with compost to get it established. After the first season, it requires little care beyond occasional thinning if it spreads too enthusiastically. It pairs well with spring bulbs, which can push through its foliage, and makes an excellent underplanting for shrubs and small trees. The secret to an exceptional shade garden is combining plants with contrasting textures, heights, and bloom times. Try pairing the bold leaves of hostas with the feathery texture of Astilbe and bleeding heart. Layer spring-blooming lungwort beneath summer-flowering foxglove. Create seasonal interest by combining early-blooming hellebores with summer astilbes and fall-interest hardy begonias. For a low-maintenance shade border, consider this combination: hellebores for winter and early spring bloom, backed by hostas for summer structure, with Astilbe providing midsummer color. Edge the border with foamflower and big-root geranium for ground cover, and add a few foxgloves for vertical accent. This arrangement provides year-round interest with plants that share similar cultural requirements. Remember that most shade gardens benefit from annual refreshing of mulch with leaf compost or well-rotted organic matter. This mimics the natural forest floor environment that these plants evolved in. Water deeply but infrequently to encourage deep root growth, particularly important in areas competing with tree roots. Don't be afraid to move plants that aren't thriving. Shade gardens often require some experimentation to find the perfect spot for each plant. Observe light patterns throughout the seasons, as areas that are deeply shaded in summer may receive significant light in spring before trees leaf out. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the fascinating world of shade gardening. I hope you're now inspired to see those shady spots as opportunities rather than challenges. If you've enjoyed this guide, please subscribe to Hydro Haven for more garden wisdom and share this video with fellow gardeners struggling with shade. Drop a comment below with your favorite shade plants or questions. I love hearing about your garden experiences. Until next time, happy shade gardening.